And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, with Side B of Technical Alpha. It is Friday, August the 4th, 2017, all day. We have made it through Side A, almost unscathed. Unfortunately...
August 4th? Oh, it's August.
Yes.
My bad.
Yes, it is. I wish it wasn't, because I feel like I haven't seen the, I haven't gotten outside to enjoy summer very much yet, but maybe I'll make that happen in August at some point. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We almost made it through Side A unscathed, and then I accidentally talked about the fact that they did that Ghostbusters movie with the women there a couple of years ago.
Welcome to August, everyone.
It's welcome to August. So this week, for tech support, I think we have a good selection of questions. I'm just guessing because I haven't actually looked at them yet.
I see 9 questions, so we might be hitting the previous ones.
No big deal. I feel like the
Some
later I put the later I put this up, the more questions are actually asked. It's quite impressive, really, if you think about it. Do you have one pre-selected, sir, that we can run with? I'm going to change over to us actually being on camera.
Let's start this with a simple one. This one's from Black Jimmy CB. I don't know what the CB stands for, but I'm going to go with Cool Bro. So Black Jimmy Cool Bro.
It's a great choice.
Quick 2-part question. You're at Thanksgiving dinner, which I know you Canadians celebrate at some godforsaken other date than other real Thanksgiving. And you can only have one side dish, which again is probably a really crappy Thanksgiving if you only have one side dish. What would you pick? And then the second part is, and same question in the context of a barbecue and a cookout.
What the fuck? So basically we're choosing our favorite sides for Thanksgiving and barbecues, is what I'm getting from this.
Yes.
Okay.
Keep it simple. Let's start easy.
So turkey or ham, depending on who you're talking to, is obviously the main here for Thanksgiving. And then you have your side. If I only get to choose one side, it's stuffing. That's not even, I feel like, or does that count because it's part of the turkey itself? Is that still technically a side?
I count it as a side because you have to prep it separately.
Okay, then stuffing it is. That's pretty straightforward. And if it was the same, then I'd go with cranberry sauce. Those are the trifecta.
All right, what about barbecue?
Barbecue, potato salad.
Throw me a potato salad.
Yep.
Yeah, mine. I'm a simple man. I don't need no fancy stuffing, no cranberry sauce. No potato salad. But I do need me some mashed potatoes.
Okay.
It's not like none of that store-bought bullshit, like the properly whipped fluffy potatoes.
Wait, hold on. Who the fuck, other than people that are, I mean, it takes as much energy to make store-bought mashed potatoes in like powdered form as it does to make actual mashed, and it probably costs more money. Who the fuck goes out of their way on Thanksgiving to use store-bought mashed potatoes? That's fucking
You'd
terrible.
be surprised at what college students would go to. What
They're
lengths
potatoes.
college Thanksgiving.
They're like they're like 3/10 of a cent a piece, for God's sake. This is like the cheapest food on the planet.
No, but I'm talking like proper mashed, you know, you can throw a little bit garlic and a little bit, but solid mashed potatoes to perfection.
Okay.
Even for a barbecue, I would take mashed potatoes. Not as common, but doable. You know, I'd accept French fried potatoes. I'd accept potato wedges.
Okay.
Or, you know, grilled potato skins.
All right.
But I'm sticking with the potato as a staple dish item here.
Did you?
I just wanted to keep.
Did you really just say mashed potatoes at a barbecue?
Yeah.
What fucking barbecues
I love me
have
some
you
mashed
been
potatoes.
To? Probably the same households that are doing store-bought fucking mashed potatoes for Thanksgiving. That is heinous. It's got to be potato salad. Like if I get a hot dog, a hamburger, potato salad, and a beer, I'm fucking 10 out of 10. I'm bouncing
potato
off
salad
walls.
Is what? Like it's just potatoes you haven't mashed, and you swap the butter from mayo, and then you just throw some other stuff in it. There's
a myriad of different potato salads. You didn't even scrape the surface of the flexibility and the complexity.
Are you gonna go on like a 5-minute tirade of like
potato salad,
different things you can do with shrimp? Instead, you're gonna be like, "This is what you can do with potato salad."
Oh, you can do anything with a potato, but I'm not gonna fuck with no potato salad. It's very simple. You get russet potatoes. You peel them. You cube them. Boil them until they're a little past cooked. Then you drain it. You put it back on the heat to dry them out, but it also flakes them up. It fluffs them up just a little bit, which is going to grab at the sauce that you put into this potato salad. It's very simple. You don't overcomplicate this shit. It is those potatoes. You then take some white onion that you've finely diced and you've pre-soaked in water to get rid of some of the raw onion flavor, and then you've drained that. You put that into the potatoes while it's still hot. It will partially cook those onions. Then you're going to do your salt heavily because it's potatoes and it needs it. Pepper. You're going to get your mayo in there. You're going to mix that bad boy up, and then you're going to just sprinkle. If you want to go the full 9 yards, you boil eggs. You slice the boiled egg, you put that on top, and then you sprinkle paprika across the top of it. That is your potato salad. Don't fuck with something too complicated. I don't want to. If I looked at chat right now and I see one person talking about mustard and potato salad, I'm going to smack it right out of your mouth. That's heinous. Don't put mustard in a potato salad that's just fake shit.
Here's what we're going to do, Adam.
What?
Next time I'm in Halifax, you're making me potato salad. We'll see if it's all it's cracked up to be with your little potato salad's amazing.
I will fucking blow your mind. My potato salad's pretty good.
We'll do a cooking stream.
My potato salad's pretty good.
We'll do an Adam cooking stream.
But Nova Mom's potato salad is fucking next level. It's a whole different universe. Mine's just okay. It's still gonna knock your socks off. But Mom's potato salad is in a whole different level. And I would eat that shit daily if I could. But I can't. I can't do it.
All right, let's toss this over to your next question.
Yeah. This is I mean, I don't know if we've thought about this because, I mean, the odds of it ever happening are basically zero. But you never know. It could happen. It could happen. We could be the next big thing. Panic. Bray Day hits us up with this question. In the near future, I mean, if this happened in the near future, I would be over the moon. I think anyone would be. Let's say that you guys have acquired enough income and stability to where not even Panic has to keep his current full-time job. I think Panic would be fucking thrilled about that, given the circumstances here in the last 7 days. To not have to do that again.
I'm going to clarify here. I love my job. There are some weird things I get asked to do. But I do love my job.
I'm not saying you hate your job. Yeah. I'm just saying there are things about your job that if
I
you
have
didn't
hated
have to
prior
do,
jobs.
Yes, it would be ideal if you didn't have to do those things. Streaming is optional, and so is YouTube content creation. That's my dream. I would like to know what you guys would be doing with your spare time, and also what would your long-term podcast studio look or feel like, as well as where it is. Money is not an issue in any way. All right, let's put a bit of a cap on this. We'll be mildly realistic, so we're not saying something stupid like we're going to put, the podcast room in a studio in Tahiti or some shit. We're gonna be a little bit realistic.
No, we already discussed this, Adam. You might not remember this discussion because you're too busy, salivating over potato salad mentally.
I guess.
But we've actually answered this question in some way, shape, or form on the podcast already. I have no problem answering it again. But you, me, and Jeff have actually discussed where the podcast studio would be if we make it big. And I did not have to work anymore. So Brady, first, thank you for the question. I know for me personally, if I didn't have to work, it was one of those things where I would want to do something with my hands. I've always wanted to pick up a building thing, be it metalworking, though probably I'd lean towards carpentry. I do. Those of you on YouTube can't see this, but I'm pointing to the cabinet I have behind me. I build plastic models. I do a bunch of other things, but I like doing stuff like that, and not having to work would be awesome because that would give me 40 to 60 hours a week to devote to learning this kind of craft, and I would be able to get a place where I have space to have a workshop so I can build things. I would love to build some furniture. I would love to do stuff like that. So, and, learn those skills. So that's where I would go for the stability part. I'm going to let Adam answer what he would want to do, and then I'll take over again because he seems to have forgotten our long-term plans.
Yeah, I mean, if I, obviously we're still under the assumption that we're doing podcast stuff, and there would be work involved in that and whatever, but if that was the main source of income, the working hours wouldn't, for all three of us, would be shorter than they are now. So with the spare time, honestly, I'd probably just spend more time with family. Honestly, I'd be constantly hanging out with family because I never get to see them right now, even though I live 5 minutes from them at any one of them, really, but 5-10 minutes. I'd spend more time at my grandmother's place out in the middle of nowhere and away from electronics as much as humanly possible. And while I was out there, I'd absorb as much woodworking and electric and plumbing and everything else knowledge from Nova Dad as humanly possible, and just spend time out on the family farm. That'd be basically what I would do. And then every other time that I was working, I'd just be back in the city, and I'd split it between those two places. I'm pretty easy with that. Nothing too complicated.
Nice. So now that you've forgotten what we had agreed upon, was if we had reached our ridiculous goal, I don't even know what it was. If we reached 50,000 a month or something on the Patreon was the number, I think.
It was 30,000 a month, I think. Something like that. Between 30 and 50. Some absurd number that I don't think any other podcast has.
Yeah, it would have needed to overcome what I make annually at my job, which was not an insignificant number. But effectively we said, we will pack our shit up and we will go to Costa Rica. Because one, Costa Rica is not a ridiculous place to live because the cost of living is actually quite a bit lower than anywhere in the States.
Yes.
We'd be able to get a multi-room beachfront villa property for dirt cheap, which is way less than this closet I'm paying for now and whatever Adam and Jeff are paying for. And we'd just have the podcast there. We do way more. That's the show right there. Costa Rica, boys.
10 out of 10.
That being
Costa
said,
Rica dreams.
yeah, that being said, we would probably go bankrupt if you put Adam and me in the same room to start designing audio and technical equipment for a studio, and you said you guys don't have a budget. We'd probably run up the GDP of Costa Rica.
It would,
and then ruin the entire economy. So, you know.
Oh, it'd be so bad.
Personally, for me, the way I envision the studio is it would be like any other soundstage. We'd have a basic rectangular room with the sound material. We'd have like what looks like an interesting set so that all three of us, or, you know, three of us plus a guest or two, could sit and, you know, have a conversation in a more natural setting. And then we'd have everything mic'd up in a way that we could make it look like we're just three guys sitting naturally conversing. Because right now we have this unholy abomination of a 3-person setup, you know, spanning a continent, you know, with mics in our faces and everything. It's not ideal, but we do a pretty good job with it. But, you know, if we could have a studio, we could set up stuff like that. We could also then have a separate studio set for D&D, because apparently if we're at 30,000, we've met that goal. So we can do stuff like that.
Yes, we've met the D&D goal. We could hire Critical Role to just leave their station and come work for us. No, I think, yeah, I mean, when it comes to podcasting,
we can use our carpentry skills to build the studio.
Absolutely. When it comes to podcasting spaces, I mean, you know, there are room shapes. There are room shapes that are ideal to stop noise bouncing around. There, you know, you dampen everything in the room. Not completely dead, because then you lose the natural sound of people's voices. But there are ways you do that. It's not really, honest to God, it's not really that expensive to do it. It's just a bit tedious to do it. I think in a perfect world, we could afford to, if I was being realistic, and we were making enough money, you know, to the point where we could convince Panic that living in Halifax was the way to be. We would probably have the podcast here because it would be cheaper than doing it in another big city somewhere else. And Jeff and I are already stationed here, and it would get Panic out of the shit show that is the United States of America. So I mean, everybody wins in that scenario.
I love my country, just not my country right now. All right, let's be clear here. Just as I love my job, I do love my country. You unpatriotic bastard.
Yeah.
You talk smack about America. Only I can talk smack about America. I talk
smack about America all the time. It's like a pastime for me.
Yeah, you saw that tweet I sent at you. You understand.
It's accurate. It's very accurate. No, I think that would be, like, I guess the ideal scenario. And then we would have a fourth guy that would be there for doing the live stream and the audio in the live setting on the fly. We'd have a Mark. We would just bring Mark in, and Mark would be the guy that would switch between cameras that we had on ourselves in the studio setup, and be able to show things as we're talking about.
We don't need Mark. We would develop a telepathic interface so it would just know.
Because we have all the money in the world.
Yes. I'm sorry, Mark. You can stand and press the button that goes live, and then we'll have the telepathy after that, so you can just crack a beer. How's that work?
We'll pay you well to push the button, if that's any consolation.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be ideal, because yeah, it would just be the best way to do it. Then when you have guests and everything, it's super easy. It would just be awesome. But the biggest thing, of course, would just have.
It'd be a lot harder to get guests to Halifax than it would be to get guests to come to Costa Rica.
That's, well, true. That's very true. I feel like in order to be an actual podcast that has guests all the time, you have to be in California, which is like the shittiest deal ever. It's way too expensive. It's way too hot all the damn time. There's no seasons in California. It's 50 shades of hot. It's just
California's not that bad. If you're in like NorCal, it's always windbreaker weather, so it's comfortable 70 to 75 during the day, maybe 80, which is not bad. And then it's like 60 during the evenings, maybe 50. I can't hear a word you're saying. One sec. How about now? If we had infinite money, I'm not sure we could resolve these problems. Yeah, so we're having some technical difficulties where Adam is now very intently staring at what looks like his audio console to figure out why we can't hear him. So I am going to keep speaking, and you guys will enjoy it. Adam is now nodding his head, looking very confused. I don't know what he's saying. He's miming things at me. Is he saying next question? Ah, there we go. Next question. Got it. Boom. All right. We're going to go with a question from Duke Ruel. If you had to fight in World War II, which combatant role do you see yourself in? This isn't limited to the Army, the Navy, or Air Force. It's fair game too. I'm not sure what he meant by the etc. is fair game too. I don't know. One, I would say soldiers in World War II have balls of steel compared to most soldiers, just because of the situation they were put into. Personally, I don't know. I'd probably go with like not necessarily like a sniper, but maybe like a designated marksman, which would usually have like a battle rifle type weapon as opposed to, you know, like a machine gun or assault rifle type weapon, you know, slightly longer range, not necessarily automatic fire, you know, because I am actually a decent marksman in real life. I've shot rifles and stuff, not like crazy good, but fairly useful. And I'm just going to keep rolling it until Adam figures out what's going on. He's now just still miming at me. I got nothing. I don't know. Next question. Apparently, all right. All right, we're gonna go with Xavier Page or Javier Page. I don't know actually how to pronounce your name. I apologize in advance. If hashtag third guy is back this week, that's me. I'd like to hear him answer my question from last week since I got Jeff and Adam's answers. When you hit your D&D money and start posting up games of that, what do you think will be your character? Race, class, ideology, etc. Jeff said Gladiator Don Quixote style, and Adam said Legolas. I'm oversimplifying those, of course, like I said with them. I wouldn't hold you to it if you chose to go with something else when it came time. Loving the show. Thanks for the entertainment. X. Let's see. His face is golden at this point, but all right. So for me, I am a D&D guy. And it's varied. I played a couple of different characters in the past, and I've enjoyed them thoroughly. I usually tend to play the fighter class, like the off fighter, like the secondary type. So it wouldn't be like sword and shield type, you know, knight or whatever, but it would be some kind of, you know, either dual wielding swords, you know, like sword dagger type, you know, more combat oriented. I've also played a Batman type class, which is like a rogue-y type fighter hybrid. So I tend to play. I personally will just fill in roles based on the party. I like to pick classes and personalities that fit with the party, but not necessarily that everything will be like happy-go-lucky, fun, and coordinated. I'll do something that will make the roleplay dynamics interesting. Like if I'm in a party of people who are like maybe questionable, do questionable things by the law or whatever, I might literally pick a paladin to be that guy where I have this strict moral code. And go with that manner. Other times, I'll be, if the party is all rowdy or something, I might go with like a more just laid back, go with the flow type of character. I just try to go for things that make it interesting. At this point, I'm now watching Adam just look really, really concerned, telling me to go to the next question. So we're going to go to the next question. I'm actually going to go to some from the previous weeks, as we've had a lot of questions in the past. So let's see what we got from the week that I was not here. Tech support, week 20. We've got 13 questions.
Am I back?
Here. Yes, you're back.
Am I Barry White, though?
Thank God. No, you're not Barry White.
Okay, so I don't know if it was audition. Okay, one sec. Okay, I'm back. I'm going to have to, syncing this audio is going to be an absolute nightmare. But,
not my fault this time.
Not your fault this time. I don't even know what happened. I think that the interface just flat out died and locked up in Windows because Audition was fine and I saved my audio, thank fuck. So that's okay. But I have no idea what just happened there. I had to unplug, plug it in, mess around with it a bunch, and here we are. But we're back. We're back. What was that last question before we move on to another one? I'll answer that one.
Oh, it was a D&D one, but I'll go back to the World War II question. If you were a soldier in World War II, what combatant role do you see yourself in? Not limited to any particular branch. I chose designated marksman. Not sniper.
Can I be the woman back home making ammunition?
That's not a combatant role.
I mean, I can throw the bullets really hard. Does that count? I don't know. That's a tough question.
Like you were drafted, but they're like, look, we know you're in a shitty situation because you have to go fight, but we'll let you pick what you do.
Fuck. I feel like I just end up being like, I mean, my grandfather was general infantry, but he was sent in to clean up everything after the first wave went through. So, let's just say that I'm the cleanup crew, like my grandfather was. We'll go with that. Yeah, that makes sense. We'll say that's what would happen.
All right, fair enough. I'm gonna go with this is my last question for now, and then we'll hand it back to you. I'm gonna go with a question from last week. I don't know if you guys answered it. This one is from Toad of Steel. If you were starting a restaurant, what kind of food would it serve?
Oh, we already answered that one, but I'll let you talk about it while I'm looking at another question.
Missed it. If I was starting a restaurant, what kind of food would I serve? I would actually like to make a really good barbecue place. I don't really I feel like, get the slow cooker out there, get it all ready. Set that up, get like some solid sauces going out there. And just go with
what kind of barbecue? Because
barbecue.
In the States, there's like a million shades of barbecue. So what version of barbecue?
There's Eastern barbecue, and then there's Western barbecue, and then there's Texas barbecue. I would probably go with the Texas barbecue. Just because they tend to have a little bit more flavor and kicks with their stuff. And they do more interesting things with the meat.
Dry rub? Like
yeah, exactly.
They're more into dry stuff?
Yeah, they do make sauces and stuff, and the sauce consistencies are different, but they do dry rubs on top of that. So that's like a different way to handle the meat. So I would probably go with that.
Yeah, when I answered the question, it was basically just like a pub with local local musical talent once or twice a week, which is which there's there's a million places in Halifax. A couple of them do that, but yeah, that was how I was going to tackle that.
Did Jeff start a Donair chain?
Yes, he was the Donair chain. That was his actual thing he was gonna do. He was hell bent on starting a Donair chain.
Okay then, Donair chain.
Oh man, we were hurting for questions this week.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Okay. Jetrix asks, I recently had the opportunity to try out the original Mirror's Edge in VR. He said, yeah, it was as terrifying as it sounds. To me, it sounds like absolute vomit, just cannon immediately. But I was reminded of how fresh and innovative the idea of Mirror's Edge was, even though its execution deserved execution. Clever. I like that. What media would you give a proverbial participation award for trying something different, even though it failed or was mediocre?
Did you just say Mirror's Edge was mediocre / failed?
I don't know if he's saying that directly, but I think he was more referring to the VR part maybe than anything.
Oh, yeah,
I don't know, but yeah. Anything come to mind?
Nothing specifically on that question. I have comments on VR. I still think it's like a very nascent industry. It's very early. I mean, I've got VR stuff right here. It's super early. It's like when VR is at the stage where like the NES just came out type of thing. You know, you had the Ataris and stuff and the gimmicky things before, but the NES was like one of the first consoles that was like straight up like a full-on entertainment system. We're at the NES stage with like the Vive and the Oculus. For me personally, I think it's only going to get better from here, and people are still figuring out what to do, how to do it. Like Vive requires you to have like light sensor things around to track you. Everyone's doing different things, but people are still trying to figure out how to put a coherent experience together. And I feel like once that happens, we'll start getting more interesting platforms within VR. You know, we'll probably get a Mirror's Edge that actually works well in VR. We'll get a lot of those, like, we'll get roller coaster simulator. We'll get a lot of those other things that are more than just novelties eventually. So I don't have anything directly on that question, and I apologize. I would have to think about it more. But at the same time, I think it's kind of an unfair question to ask because it's just so early. You know, I don't think
he's saying just VR. Yeah. Like, if is there anything in media, expand it to just media in general. It doesn't have to even be a video game, but is there anything that went out of its way to do something different, and it should be commended for its attempt, but it didn't quite execute?
Laserdisc.
Okay, that was the last thing. Not even. I don't even think it would be on the list of things I'd think about.
They tried real hard with that. They came up with all sorts of crazy interactive experiences, and ultimately it just bombed. But everyone remembers Laserdiscs. Like, that's the one that came to mind. Not even like Kinect or something, but like the Laserdisc. Like,
I think
never panned out.
I think the closest thing to a Laserdisc I ever saw was a Laserdisc system in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
My school tried to make that work so badly. Did not go anywhere. Yeah, we had Laserdisc players and everything. We had like I think we only ever used it like 5 times over the course of like 6 years.
I think the easy one for video games would be No Man's Sky obviously.
Oh man,
that would be the participation award right there. You know, it's going to be the thing that sparks a bunch of other people figuring out how to do what they wanted to do properly. But since they were kind of the first to the market on that one, it didn't quite pan out the way that they wanted it to.
I'm still trying to think of like what would do that. Like what did people try that didn't quite pan out? Like there's like tons of them.
What was that movie? What was that movie that was all done in first person here, like a year or two ago?
Oh, I know this one you're talking about. Something. It was a very random title. Jeff watched it too. Something Harry, maybe.
Yeah.
No.
Hardcore Henry.
Yeah.
So I would classify
I don't know. I
that
felt like that one did well.
As well. I don't think we're going to see another first-person action movie for a while. I can say that much. So I'm going to give it the participation award for that. I think they did well with it, but I don't think it's going to be starting a new crazy trend or anything like that. Oh, what else? I'm going to here's a TV and video game tie together. I'm going to give Quantum Break this because they tried to tie the video game series and the TV stuff together in terms of what players or whatever was happening in the game and what was happening in the TV show played off of each other, and they had this grandiose plan, and if it was executed and done well, it would probably be really cool, but it just didn't happen. So I guess that's another one that I could come up with.
Well, they had Defiance, but Defiance is bombed.
Oh god, Defiance was rough. I don't even know if I want to give that a participation award.
I would give it to them just to take it away from them. I just like hand them the award and be like, no, actually that wasn't for you.
No lemon pledge.
Yeah, pretty much.
Man, what else? There's probably a bunch. I'm going to say 3D on home televisions and in theaters. I still think it's a gimmick. I still think that they're doing it just because they can. Yeah. Points for trying, but the tech just isn't there yet. And so,
sorry, but if you got to wear glasses, it's not going to work.
Come back in another, 50 years and try again. It's probably the way to take that. Oh, what else?
Trying to find questions as well.
Man. There's probably so many examples of these that you just don't think of because they're obscure, right? So
yeah, it just happens all the time.
You don't even think about it anymore. Damn. What? Maybe 2 years from now we'll be saying that good job Tesla, you tried.
I hope not. They're doing pretty well.
There's another
EV company coming. They're ramping up. If the Model 3 goes as planned, they'll be rolling it in a couple months, probably a year or two.
Oh, plasma. Well, I think plasma TVs were around long enough that they weren't just a passing fad. I think they were just overtaken by other tech for a number of reasons. It bothers me that plasma got the treatment that it did in the marketing. Holy fuck. It was savage. It was absolutely savage. And we only now are just finally catching back up to plasmas. Like, how fucking asinine is that? We went through like a decade plus of bullshit marketing for LCD screens, and then plasmas have still been beating the pants off all of them, and now OLEDs are finally getting to the point of plasmas. Just fucking kills me. I still have my plasma upstairs, and I don't plan on selling that anytime soon. In fact, I'm about to spend a bunch of money to have it recalibrated because it hasn't been done in 5 years. And it still looks
You're special. You're
better.
Special, sir.
Dude, you were here. You saw that
solid.
TV. You saw that TV.
It was a nice TV.
It's not even tuned for dark. It's not even tuned for the dark room. It can get even dark. You can get even better blacks than it has now. But it was tuned for daytime. So now it's gonna get tuned for a movie only. And
let's not talk about the blacks when Jeff's not here. It's a little rude. All right, let's keep it realistic here.
Yeah, we'll talk. We'll talk about the. Let's just talk about the whites then. Obviously, is the way to go. But I'm not getting rid of my plasma for a long time. I'll by the time I get rid of my plasma,
don't jinx it, man. After your fridge,
I guess it's true. But
you're gonna turn your TV on tomorrow and be gone, and it's gonna have like the one tier.
Catastrophic failure. I'm not getting rid of that TV until at the very least HDR is standardized and none of this VHS Betamax bullshit that's constantly going back and forth right now. I want to be able to just buy a TV and know that in
be done with it.
5 years I'm not going to be fucked because movies aren't coming out in HDR standards that my TV is tuned for. So I'm holding on to it. I've got a dope plasma too. It's the last of Samsung's flagship plasmas, and I love it. It's so fucking good. Once you've seen a plasma TV, like a high-end plasma, unless you go and watch an OLED that's also been tuned appropriately, there is no other TV that looks as good as a plasma. It doesn't fucking exist. And it's night and day. OLED. Well, yeah, you should for how much money it costs. You should like that OLED.
I got it during Black Friday. I got a sick deal for it.
And I bet you it was still over $3,000 for that TV.
No, it was like 1,800, I think.
What? Fuck off.
Check how much I paid for this TV. I'm
That's
curious
bullshit.
Now. How much did I pay?
That thing new, not on sale, was like $5,000. If you got that for friggin' $1,800, that's just silly. That's just absolutely silly. I think the biggest thing is, and the thing that I still hate the most, is this interpolation bullshit that they put on all these LCD TVs and even the OLEDs. It's our refresh rate is absolute garbage, and so we've got to try and make it look smooth motion, and it looks so bad. So like when we watched Game of Thrones at Jeff's, not that long ago, we watched an episode over there, and it hurt. It physically hurt me. I felt like I was watching a soap opera, which is, why they call it the soap opera effect. It looked terrible. And then I go back and I watched it on mine and I was like, oh, yes. Oh, bless you. Bless you, plasma. Bless you. I love you so much. None of that bullshit. I'm still waiting on this cost of this. Oh, HD DVD. There you go. That's a good one, graphic.
Oh, yeah. That was one that didn't go. That one like bombed out real fast. What they lost out? You had what? DivX and HD DVD and like a couple other things, like the DivX players or whatever.
Yeah.
There was some crazy.
You know what? HD DVD was really not that bad. I had the player for the 360 and shit looked really good on it, and it had a lot of interactive features that Blu-rays never ended up getting. But obviously, Progressive Scan won out in the end. It was too good. It was too good for the poor interlaced. Man, what else is... You got me talking about plasmas, man. Fuck.
Oh, man, you and your plasmas.
Oh, man. Dude, the Kuro, until the plasma you have in your room right now, except the bigger brother of that, the Kuro was from 2007 was still the TV that everyone benchmarked TVs on. The Pioneer Kuro. For that long.
The Pioneer was solid.
It wasn't even 1080p. It was 720p. It wasn't even a full fucking HD display. But they were amazing. And then Panasonic, I think, was the one that bought up Pioneer's plasma kits. And then Samsung eventually caught up, and in the last ones, I was deciding to buy the Samsung I have now, the F8500, and Panasonic's one, but Panasonic's one was like $600 or $700 more. And looking at the reviews, the difference between the two TVs were basically negligible, except for some really specific usage scenarios, and I could not justify the extra $700. But they said that those two, the Samsung F8500 and that Panasonic, had finally, and they were still plasmas, both of them, finally caught up to the Kuro from way back in 2007. Because Kuros, you can still buy them now on aftermarket used, and they're still selling for like thousands of dollars. Like they're freaking expensive because they look so damn good. Smell-O-Vision back in theaters back in the day. What?
They had Did Smell-O-Vision actually ever come out?
That happened?
I don't think that.
Really?
I don't think they ever did.
Oh man,
I feel like that was like an
anti-skip
thing.
Talk about the biggest crock of bullshit ever, anti-skip. And that thing's garbage. Man. That didn't mean
where you had like the buffer and all of that?
Yeah, you turn on anti-skip so that when you were like, you know, out for a rip with your CD player, that it didn't just fucking skip the CD every time you made like a little bump. Yeah, and that was a bunch of bullshit.
Oh, sweet Jesus. I remember that.
You're having a hard time finding this. I am positive you did not get it for that price. There is no way.
I know. I'm looking for it. I don't even remember when I bought the TV. That's the problem.
I mean, the one that Jeff has, the one which is the bigger. I think it's the next. Well, it's just the same TV, but bigger.
Quite a bit larger than the one I got.
Do you have the 43?
No, he's got like the 50 something. I got the 55.
No. He's got the 60-inch. Or 65. So his is, but his is like a 6,300 Canadian peso TV. Although he got his on sale too at the time. It was the flagship LG that was expensive, super expensive. I'm still trying to convince him to spend the money to have it tuned. Still desperately trying to get him to spend that money on it. I want to see in person what that TV looks like when it's been properly calibrated. Yeah,
I have the OLED 55B6. I don't see my confirmation email.
Oh man, I want to know. I'm trying to think of what else was a bit of a fail.
Yeah, I mean, it's about right because I'm looking at it right now on Amazon. It's like $1,900, and I bought it like 6 months ago during Black Friday, or 7 months ago, or 8 months ago at this point.
Okay,
right around Black Friday. So
maybe I'm just thinking of the larger larger TV variant and the fact that it's $2
I got the 55. I was like, my heart. I know it wasn't more than that because my hard budget was $2,000. I was like, I'm not spending any more than $2,000 on a TV because I sold my old one. So like, that's the show.
Yeah, so, it's entirely possible.
Yes.
I can kind of believe it. Bullshit that you can get that TV for $1,900.
What, you call him
crock of shit.
I'm sorry that my currency is not Monopoly money.
Unreal.
All right, hit us up with a question, Adam.
Yeah, not tech related, but Target trying to enter Canada, massive failure. Just an absolutely
oh my god, that
failure.
Just did not happen. That just was bombed horribly. I still remember watching that failure happen in slow-mo on the news. They're just like, Target is moving, Target is failing. Oh god, they're closing already.
Let's see. Holy crap. Wait, I picked this question. Why am I picking another question? Are you looking for one too?
I did like 4 in a row.
Sloppiest,
I did 4 in a row.
This is the sloppiest tech support segment in the history of Technical Alpha. Brutal. We got technical problems mid-span.
I'm blaming you for that one, bro.
I'm blaming Windows. It's the easiest thing to blame.
My audio interface does not plug into my computer. My thing is set and done. Yeah, it's nice and simple now.
If only. Alright, hold on. I'm still trying to find a question that we haven't already answered. Alright, I bet you I can find one in here somewhere. Let's see.
I'm digging deep. I'm going further back. We're gonna have to have our
I know
Patreon step
I'm
up
really
for the next one.
I'm really deep right now with these questions, trying desperately.
See if week 17 is the show.
Okay. Well, I actually don't know if we answered this one.
All right.
Mao, I'm gonna guess he wants it pronounced this way. Muotech, something along those lines. I apologize for butchering that. After hearing Tabin's heresy about playing Homeward with NSYNC as background music, I have to ask. I
remember this question.
Is there any video game soundtrack or music that you particularly like or was in some way memorable? And if not, well, we can also talk about this too, I guess. What about movie soundtracks?
I'm gonna kick that off. Mass Effect 3 soundtrack was straight fire. Fantastically done, very memorable, and then also you can throw Halo on top of it too. Those were like the two big hitters for game soundtracks, I would say.
What about movie side?
I'm always going to go back to, actually, there's two now. Baby Driver is a more recent one where the soundtrack was straight fire.
Okay.
And in one way, but my go-to at this point for movie soundtrack synergy is Tron Legacy. The movie might not have been great, but if I'm sitting at home, I love Daft Punk, but if I'm sitting at home, you know, laying out on the couch or whatever with my fancy headphones, and I listen to the entire soundtrack from start to finish, you know, I can visualize the movie. I can tell you where in the movie that happened. It just was so like it fit the movie so well, and the entire movie was orchestrated so well with that soundtrack. Not orchestrated, engineered and mixed together so perfectly that you can tell all the scenes. I can revisualize the movie, and I feel like that's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. I would agree with that. Video games. I mean, I've got a bunch that I really think are amazing. I think you already said the original Halo. I think you might have mentioned.
Yes,
that's 100% on that list. I think of the Mass Effects as well. Just to kind of reiterate with what you said, that Mass Effect 2 for me is the best soundtrack of the series. Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, the fact that it has like 2 songs and I played it for thousands of hours and I can still listen to that song for an entire day without any issues, and the fact that they repurposed that exact theme song for every other Elder Scrolls game that has come out since should also, you know, be a pretty good indicator of how good that song is.
It's even been remastered by Jeff.
Yes, I mean, now how much better can you get than that?
This is true.
Forever ruined a song for many people, or maybe made it better. Man, the Myst series has incredible music. Specifically, once you hit Riven,
Bastion also actually, and Transistor.
Yeah, all of the Supergiant's stuff is really good. For sure, with that stuff. Jet Set Radio Future is probably one of the most recognizable soundtracks ever made in a video game.
Initial D.
Yeah. Streets of Rage.
Oh yeah, that was a big one. I'm trying to think. There's just a ton of, like, people don't realize it, but music and games, there's some really Diablo.
Yeah, Diablo.
Diablo soundtrack, I have them in high quality FLAC. It's still one I go back to regularly. Really good soundtrack.
This is just, I mean, Zelda, obviously. Zelda's
you can keep going
for sure. Yeah,
actually,
there's
I wouldn't
a lot of
necessarily
stuff.
go with Zelda for soundtrack. I
I'd
would
go with
say
Ocarina
it's
of
got an
Time.
iconic like melody and like that, but unless you're like playing with an orchestra,
Well, I
what
think
we
that's
got
what
in
you
the
have
game,
to
I don't
do.
think
I
was great.
mean,
Yeah.
I mean, if I say Streets of Rage 2, I mean, it's bit chip music, right? It's 16-bit era.
How
It's
have
not
we
really
not
gonna
mentioned John Williams?
I don't know. How didn't we?
Like all of Star Wars, anything John Williams has touched. Oh, another movie one, Batman Begins, Hans Zimmer. That was a really good
Hans
soundtrack.
Zimmer,
There's another
everything.
one.
Like The Last Samurai. I was gonna mention as one of my movie ones. There's one track on that movie specifically. I'm trying to think of the name of it right now. Something Peace. But it's one of my favorite songs to listen to. Ooh, here's a completely random movie one that nobody would probably ever choose for music. Mrs. Doubtfire had fucking awesome music. I'm gonna say that one. Come on, dude
you're
looks
right.
like
That
a
was
lady.
it was well done. Yeah, it was
Had
well done.
Jump. It had a bunch of good. I mean, none of it was real. I mean, there's some original stuff, but I mean, they chose really good music for that. Mrs. Doubtfire, fantastic movie.
All right, we'll go with that.
I'm also going to say, yeah. I mean, we've already mentioned. I mean, as soon as you say the names of the guys that do most of the composing for movies, you've already tackled a million movies. But Interstellar really hit me hard with the music.
Well, that was because Nolan had a big hand in it too. Like he kind of takes full control of the whole thing.
They did that little documentary thing talking about the soundtrack for Interstellar and how they worked together on that. And Interstellar had it absolutely incredible. I mean, better than usual, I would say, coming from those gentlemen.
Interstellar was the usually we go with Pacific Rim for our sound test. I actually did Interstellar for my soundbar test with my TV because my TV and soundbar came in around the same time. So I was like, for visual impressiveness, I'm just going to go with Interstellar.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I might actually watch Interstellar tonight.
Great choice. Oh yeah, Interstellar. Oh man, so good. I mean, it's
on Amazon with 4K, so you can stream it in 4K.
Yeah, but streaming 4K is like, eh.
Yeah.
Even if you have the bandwidth for it, it's just not quite the same. But it does look pretty dope, though. I'm not gonna lie. Interstellar, yeah, man, Interstellar. The thing about this has nothing to do with any questions. We've just said Interstellar now, and now I want to talk about Interstellar. Interstellar.
Oh, we're talking about Interstellar.
Was so good until there were two parts of Interstellar that made me weep. And not for a good reason.
Love makes the world go round.
That
universe
fucking
go round.
Speech. I don't like her as an actress to begin with, and so but she was fine up until that point, and then that scene happened, and I was sitting in the theaters just jamming objects in my eyes and my ears, just trying to get her out of my head, because it was the single silliest pull me out of the movie moment they could have put in there. It was so dumb. And then that scene goes away and you kind of forget about it for a while. And then they re-mention it again at the end of the movie and you're like, oh, fucking let it go, please.
Like, Nolan tries to have like super deep messages in his movies, and like in Inception he pulled it off perfectly. Interstellar, despite him trying to browbeat you with the message, like bitch slap you with, this is the message, it was just such a bad message that I was just like, this is kind of lame, but the rest of your movie was so good, I'll let it slide.
Yep, exactly. No, it was incredible. For anyone who hasn't seen Interstellar yet, one, you missed out, because in the theaters, Interstellar was probably my favorite movie-going experience.
Yeah, I saw it in IMAX. It was phenomenal.
So did I.
It's definitely
IMAX,
eye candy. Very eye candy.
There's one, I mean, I don't know how spoiler we can get at this point. Really, it's been out for so long. But when they're going across the event horizon, that in IMAX was fucking me up. I mean, I was sober, stone sober, and that shit fucked me up. If anyone was in there on shrooms or anything else, they probably died. They probably died right there in the theater. They had a heart attack, and it was all over.
Stop showing Interstellar. It's like, why? It's like so many people just dying in the theaters, frothing at the mouth. Oh my
goodness. So is actually saying get rid of that Matt Damon shit, and Interstellar would have been a 10 out of 10. I will agree that Matt Damon felt like that whole. It felt like a totally different movie that was just kind of inserted into Interstellar as its own thing. He
redeemed himself in The Martian, though. I'll give Matt Damon that.
That movie was that section for Matt Damon was so much like The Martian that I like the two movies kind of merged into one into my brain. Because it was so much of the same damn thing. There was no point of him being in that movie. You could remove that entire section of that movie and it probably still would have been fine. But the fact that they did it, I don't know. Maybe it had to be there. I don't even know what the purpose of it was, him being there, other than more star power.
That is a question I would love to ask Christopher Nolan. What was the purpose of Matt Damon? Why Matt?
Why Matt?
Why not Ben Affleck?
That's like a burn. If you call up Ben Affleck before you call up Matt Damon, it's like a low-key burn to Matt Damon.
Yeah, we tried to get Ben. He said no, but we figured you'd be a good fit.
That would be so freaking bad. Oh, it'd be so bad. But yeah, well, there you go. Interstellar. Anytime I get to talk about Interstellar, cram that in there. Panic, we still have a half an hour of airtime to fill. What are we going to talk about? At this point, we have no questions left. We'll take some from the chat, maybe. Should we take them from the chat? We got people here. This is a live show.
Let's go with chat.
All right, chat.
Yeah.
It's your time to shine. This whole segment, side B, has been a fire for a while. If chat's got some questions, we will start taking some questions from the chat. Worst food dishes. First thing up, TX. Worst food. Okay, I'll modify that a bit. What are some things that you absolutely just can't eat or refuse to eat because you hate it so much? It's like your least favorite foods.
Tomatoes. Just raw tomatoes. Absolutely hate them. I'll have tomato-based things, but it's just the texture is absolutely disgusting to me. The mouth completely out. Also, I don't have any sort of shellfish or like crawfish or anything. I don't know. I've had bad reactions to it. I don't know if I'm allergic or whatnot. I also generally don't like looking at food as it looks at me while I try to eat it. Which is generally the case with those things. So, that sort of thing. In terms of prepared dishes, I don't even know. I just have very particular tastes, which I don't quite know until I see the food in front of me. I'm a very picky eater.
Yeah.
I'll try some things, and other things I was like, nope, not gonna happen.
Yeah, for me,
how about you, sir?
I'm not a picky eater, like, at all. Honest to God, there are things that I won't eat. I'm similar to you. I don't do shellfish. I don't do it anymore. I used to eat things like clams and mussels and whatnot. But I had a clam that ended up giving me food poisoning or something. And that night, I like 3 hours of straight projectile vomiting. And I said,
you were dying.
Right, just to play this safe, we're just going to avoid shellfish in general. Just because it wasn't like I loved.
That's pretty much what happened with me.
Yeah, it wasn't my favorite food in the world. So I've never woken up and been like, shit, I can't eat this you know, oh no, it's never bothered me, so I just avoided it altogether. So
Well, yeah,
I
for
do
me when I
kind
was
of
younger,
miss mussels.
You do? Really?
A little
They
bit.
look disgusting
Yeah.
to me. Whenever I see people eat them, I'm like, ugh.
They look
For me,
terrible
when we were
but
younger,
if you, yeah, they're good.
When we were younger, again, I don't actually know if I'm allergic. The reason I said I don't actually know if I'm allergic to shellfish or not. I just stopped having it because my brother doesn't have quite the iron stomach. Mine's a little bit stronger, but we were in Bangladesh and we went out to eat, and my brother had shrimp, and I also had shrimp. My brother went full on at him with the full on projectile, whatever, for quite a while. Now, unfortunately, since we're in Bangladesh and we're at my grandparents' house, my brother and I were sharing like a massive bed, which meant that I also was subjected to his projectile actions late at night. At which point I started. And ever since then, my brother and I have just looked at shrimp or whatever and just been like,
nope.
We're good. We're good. Never again. And it's been like 20 years.
Time. Oh yeah.
In 20 years.
It only takes one time, because really, who enjoys projectile vomiting for long periods of time? Like, nobody's really like, you know, that's fun. So
that's something I'm gonna try again. Let's see if we can do that again.
Yeah, let's see if it really was. Let's just give it a shot. So no, yeah, that's
Please,
sir,
for sure. May I have some more?
Lobster, I can't do. It doesn't upset me or anything, but I can't. I'm just not. The flavor doesn't do anything for me, and the texture, even when it's cooked properly, it's not rubbery or anything, also doesn't do anything for me. So I'm the worst East Coast Canadian possibly ever. But you know, that's whatever.
Anything living really in like Lobster Town too.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah. If you're gonna get a lobster for less than $1 million a pound, you're gonna get it in Nova Scotia. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but in a similar vein, it's always seafood. Like, I will eat almost anything, but seafood-related stuff. I'll eat any fish you can put in front of me, basically. It doesn't matter. I love sushi and everything else, but stuff like chowders, there is not a chowder in existence that I will eat and enjoy. I don't like fish. I hate fish chowder, but anything chowder, cream-based, whatever, despite the fact that I'm lactose intolerant, obviously that's a problem as it stands, but does nothing for me. And ever since I was a kid, I can't stand chowders. So, oh, and you know what? It wasn't a clam that fucked me up. It was a scallop. I apologize. And Mark just made me remember because he said that in chat. So yeah, chowder, not my thing. Not even tomato-based chowders, not my thing whatsoever.
There are tomato-based chowders?
There are, yeah. Yeah, there's a name for them. I can't remember what it is, but I think it's after a in so it's yeah, but yeah, they do in fact exist. What's the question?
I got a new question. This is from our editor Mark Blinkhorn. Blinkhorn, sorry. Combine two actors or celebrities to create the ultimate high performance machine. Show your work.
Oh shit. Okay. I feel like that's just going to end up being us picking two of our favorite actors and mashing them together.
I don't think so. You got to get ones that got synergy, bro. You got to show your work.
Synergy? What does that even mean? What does show your work even mean?
You got to explain your reasoning.
Okay.
Tell you why it's the ultimate high performance. Come on, man. We're a podcast. We're here to talk. Don't bitch out.
This is true. Well, no, I got you. Just got to come up with whatever the hell that's going to be.
What makes NovaWar and MaximusBlack combine to be a high performance? Combine that with actual celebrities.
Man, who would I choose? I think that I would go with, all right, here we go. We're going to go Jackie Chan. Okay? That's one.
Following you so far.
And then the follow up to Jackie Chan, the melding would be Oh, I've got a couple of options in my head, and I'm not sure what I want to go with. We're gonna go Jackie Chan and Leonardo DiCaprio. You have the ability to do all of your own stunts.
What the hell?
And action stuff, but you have the acting chops of Leonardo DiCaprio.
What would be the premise here?
Let's
Walk me through this.
That. The premise?
Walk me through this premise.
The premise is...
Give me a scenario. Use it in a sentence.
The premise is, instead of the Revenant being Leonardo DiCaprio crawling on the ground for 3 hours, it would be Leonardo DiCaprio beating the shit out of a bear with his bare hands.
Where does Jackie Chan fit into this? Is he the bear?
No, Jackie Chan is giving him the ability to beat the shit out of the bear. This is a combined, these are two people combined into one actor.
You're saying a fusion.
A fusion.
I was gonna say just two actors acting together in the same movie, but okay, you're taking it to another level with the fusion. Okay,
it's a fusion.
Okay. Man, I don't know if I can match a fusion.
That's it.
I was gonna say I want to see another buddy cop movie, but I want to see Ryan Reynolds with The Rock.
Okay.
We
went that
but
route.
R-rated.
Okay.
R-rated. Let them both go
buddy
loose.
Cop. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, if we did that way, if we went that way, I want to see. Let's see. If we're not doing fusions, what are we gonna do? What would
Leo Chan even look like? Who would be the dominant member of that fusion?
A fucking monster.
We need someone to draw that for us. A rendering of Leonardo DiCaprio fused with Jackie Chan fighting a bear.
Leo Chan.
We need Leo Chan fighting a bear.
Yeah, Leo Chan
that
fighting
needs to be
a bear.
T-shirt.
I could do that. Yeah, T-shirt or a poster. Leo Chan fighting a bear. It'd be incredible.
I don't know where your brain went with that. Oh my god.
Let's see. I'd like to see you know what my buddy cop movie would be? Woody Harrelson and Bill Murray.
That already happened. But, not buddy cop though. You want it in a buddy cop?
Buddy cop movie. Woody Harrelson and Bill Murray. I think that would be fucking incredible. I think that would be absolutely incredible. Yeah, if somebody does a mashup of Leo Chan fighting a bear, then that will be the thumbnail for this episode. 110%.
Oh my god. How high are you right now that you came up with that?
Not high enough. Not for that, anyway. Just Milwaukee, Jackie Chan, and Jackie Chan. Let's see.
Someone actually mentioned Jeremy Renner and Ryan Reynolds instead for a buddy cop movie. That would be pretty funny too.
Yeah, yeah. Did you guys ever, Colin asks, did you guys ever watch a movie that left you guys depressed when you left the theater? For some reason, Cloverfield and District 9, I felt like shit when I left the theater or when the movie ended, like humanity is so fucked up or pointless. I don't need to go to a movie theater to know that humanity is fucked up and possibly pointless. But Man, what movies? You know what?
Oh, I got my answer to this one.
It wasn't a movie for me. You know what it was? Have you watched all of Black Mirror, Panic?
No, I've watched a bunch of episodes, just not all of it.
Did you watch the one with the black guy, I think that played him Get Out or whatever that movie was?
I haven't watched that
where
one.
they're on when they're on like the bicycles or whatever, and no? Okay, so you need to watch that one because that's the name of the movie, right? Get Out, the one that what's his name?
Yeah,
from
Key and Peele did that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, he at the end of that episode, he has this speech that is way too real. Way too fucking real. Like
way too real.
And real in the kind of way that you could tell that as he was delivering this speech, he was actually feeling everything that was coming out of his mouth. Like it almost sounded ad-libbed. Like this guy fucking killed it. And when I saw that episode, I mean, I wasn't a huge Black Mirror fan. I thought it was okay or whatever. It was pretty good, but this one episode, it was weird, but that speech is some of the craziest shit I've seen in media. He nailed that. It was a 13 out of 10, and it depressed the fuck out of me because it was way, way, way too real.
Way too accurate.
That's a choice for me. Yeah, it's stupid. You could probably find it on YouTube, and if you can, just watch the speech, and you're probably going to, I mean, you're going to be, you're already salty, I'm sure, but you'll be 20 times saltier about humanity.
There's a story that goes with this one. I think I mentioned it to you, at least in passing as friends. Gone Girl.
Yes, right.
That movie,
of course.
Yeah. So my buddy Rich, I work with him in Aggressive Comics. We're also close friends.
Not the drummer.
No. Prior to his current girlfriend, who's awesome, if they listen to the podcast, he hasn't had the greatest track record in dating women. Including some very, very, very odd characters. And we both went to watch Gone Girl because we go and watch movies together periodically. And we're sitting in the theater after Gone Girl ends. And for those of you that haven't watched Gone Girl, it's a very, very savage movie. And we're just sitting there. The credits have finished rolling. People are rolling in. You clean the theater. Both of us are still just sitting there. In silence. Like we haven't talked to each other during the credits. And he just turns and looks at me. He's like, "Are you thinking what I'm thinking?" I'm like, "Rich, what are you thinking?" He's like, "You know what? I really need to think long and hard about the women I'm dating and how I might end up dead because of it." He's like, "Are you thinking the same thing?" I'm like, "Nah, man, I'm definitely not thinking the same thing. What I'm thinking is you really need to think about the women you're dating and how you might end up dead." And he just looks at me and he's just like, "I want to say fuck you, but I really can't."
That's fucking amazing.
And then we just walked out of the theater in silence and we got to our cars and we were going to hang out for the rest of it. But we were like, "Dude, I'm just going to go home." I'm like, "Yeah, I think I need to too." And we both just went home and that was it.
Holy
end of the night.
Shit. Yeah, that definitely, I can definitely see that. I'm sure there have been other ones, but that Black Mirror episode is definitely the one that sticks to my mind.
Yeah.
More than anything. I mean, for God's sake, the last few months on this planet has been stranger than fiction. So I don't need a movie to remind me. It's just kind of constantly happening at all times. So
I don't need a depressing movie to remind me of my life.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. If you made a video game, what genre would it be?
Star Citizen.
The Star Citizen genre.
It is the game. Like, honestly, I'm not even joking. That's like the game I've been wanting forever. If they deliver even 60% of what they said, I'll be happy.
Yeah. I don't know what genre I'd end up making. I think probably VR, even though I can't stand VR.
VR card game?
Nope. VR puzzle adventure. I think it's the one genre that really makes sense for VR is puzzle adventure, and so I'd probably do that. I'd if I had the money, I would just fund a remaking of Riven and make it VR and walk away and be done with it, because I don't think that you can do puzzle adventure better than Riven. It's kind of just already peaked. We've been there. We've been to the mountaintop.
What's up with that collab, Cyan?
Oh man, I know. I tweeted them out, kind of jokingly saying that, and their response to the tweet was if you've thought of it, odds are we've already thought of it too. So it's definitely they definitely. Well, it's like it's the you know, we would like to do it, but it's not going to make money response, which is true. It would not sell well enough to, you know, justify redrawing all of Riven. Would be too much of a task for sure. But yeah, I think it would be a VR puzzle adventure, or just a puzzle adventure in general. I like that puzzle adventure has been on a bit of a revival lately. Like, the Steam is getting more and more, you know, well done puzzle
Abduction
adventure
did
games.
really well.
Yes,
and that was your favorite, The Witness.
That's not a puzzle adventure. That's just a visual representation of a Sudoku book. Oh my god,
Antechamber.
Dude. Oh, Antechamber was okay. It just gave
I would
you
love a VR
headache.
portal. I would love a VR portal.
Yeah, that might make you throw up.
I am not as susceptible to motion sickness as you, bro.
Yeah, I mean, well, there are some things. If it was the original Portal, maybe not so bad, but Portal 2 had some fucking crazy solutions that would have you all
People
over
would just
the
be
place.
like falling over their living rooms, dying.
Oh, it'd be death. It'd be death, dude. You mentioned The Witness.
Oh my god!
Like I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago.
I like to call it the Witless.
So somebody, I can't remember who it was, linked in my Discord a super serious look into The Witness from like an artistic perspective, like an essay, like a video essay form. And apparently there are a few of these done on YouTube, and some of them have like a ton of views. And I was watching them thinking to myself, you have got to be shitting me. Like, this is the equivalent of going into an art gallery where an artist has literally thrown 3 speckles of paint on a canvas that's 15 feet by 15 feet, called it like the pensive skittle, and then made $15 million because they could stand there and watch as rich people tried to derive artistic and meaningful value from something that was just an artist that flicked a paintbrush at a canvas and called it a day. That is exactly what I felt like watching The Witness shit. I was like, what the fuck? How could you even get that far into it? It's insane. But I guess, you know,
love makes the universe go round, Adam, and reaches through time and space.
Yeah, it does. Fuck. Oh, it's just absolutely terrible. Absolutely freaking terrible. Any other questions from Chad? We've got a little bit of time left, so we can cover a couple more questions. Bless you for listening to this on iTunes. Hopefully, maybe people are enjoying this because it's a little bit more, or a little bit less structured.
A little bit more low key.
Maybe that's the secret. The secret sauce is less structure.
You don't try to pull the sauce like Jeff does. You don't got the sauce properly.
I just probably.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. I don't do voices.
That wouldn't be Jeff anyway. We'd be ripping it off of Epic Mealtime.
Mm.
I don't even know what that is, Lil, which makes it difficult for me to answer it. Oh wait, they're like
Adam's not much to watch movies, so he doesn't know. It's pretty much Japanese giant monsters.
Yeah, Japanese
like
giant monsters. Yeah,
all them. Yeah,
Mothra's better than everybody. There you go. Done.
Adam, did you bring Tabin to Reflections? Not that I know of.
No, we did not. We did not make that that pilgrimage to Reflections.
Jeff is probably at Reflections right now, right? After last week?
Definitely. I mean, after watching sweaty men, you know, touch themselves and others for a couple hours, the only place to go after that's Reflections.
That makes sense. Makes sense.
What is something seemingly everyone wants to do, but you do not?
That's actually a hard one to answer.
Oh, hmm. I feel like I had an answer and then it just left me immediately.
What's something that everyone, oh my god, I don't even know how to answer that one. Why would you pick that one?
I mean, there could be some things, some stupid things like everyone wants to own a 4K TV. I do not. Everyone wants to play Destiny 2. I don't really care. I
don't even really know. Like, I generally don't care about things I don't care about. As stupid as it sounds, like it doesn't enter my mind. Like, if I have no interest in it,
there's a good one. There's a good one. Going to Las Vegas. I could not care less about Las Vegas if I tried. I'd go to see Celine in concert and then I'd leave. This is the 2 steps to Las Vegas. Go to Celine Dion, go home.
Go see Celine Dion somewhere not Vegas. Just throwing that out there. She's Canadian, isn't
she? Well, before they sign contracts, you know, for the rest of her known life, then there would have been opportunities.
I'm gonna go with pineapple on pizza. I'm not just not interested in it, and I know people are. I am militantly against it. I think you are a bad person if you put pineapple on pizza.
What if it's the only pizza in the room? Will you eat it because you didn't buy it? Like, if you didn't spend money on it, will you still eat the pineapple on pizza?
No, I would fucking throw that shit out. I'd walk over and be like, "What the fuck is this shit?" And just toss it out. Garbage shouldn't be in here.
Like I'm not gonna.
And when I said militantly against it, I meant militantly against it.
That's fair. That's fair. Man, I don't know. I don't know.
Got nothing else other than Vegas. How about a cruise? Would you like to go on a cruise?
This is the biggest one. Not a fuck given about cruises. Not a single fuck.
Travel,
yes. Yeah, no, I
you
like
never leave Halifax, so
I don't have the money to travel, and if I did, I'd have to like. I mean, I could afford to travel. Well, flying out of or within Canada is quite expensive, but well, out of Halifax, I should say, because it's not a destination, or it's a destination but not a hub. So you know that's part of the problem. But I'm also like I just prioritize things above travel. I would like to travel, but it's not a priority.
Sorry, I was addressing an issue in chat.
I saw that issue addressing.
I don't know. All right, folks, hit us up with some other questions.
Yeah, one more. I want one more good question. I want to end on a strong note. Strength.
I want thought involved. Like, be it about life or something. Who knows?
Give me something.
Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness.
Exactly.
Let's get a Nova rant going here. And if you want to go for the platinum star, the panic rant, which is really hard to get.
That's a difficult one to achieve. That's S rank.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'd go with Z rank.
Z rank? What are you doing, Rex? Ooh, you guys have to leave your country of origin forever. Where do you go?
Define origin.
Panic's got an easier out than I do.
You shut your whore mouth about America. All right.
I think I end up in some Scandinavian country because they've got the standard of living down like champions. That or
yeah, I'd probably end up in Sweden or Denmark.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that's probably the way to go. Somewhere
Maybe
in that
even
neighborhood.
New Zealand.
Yeah. I feel like New Zealand was more attractive a long time, or like long, not long ago, but several years ago and prior. It's starting to do some weird and wonderful shit.
Could take a nice leisurely walk to Mordor.
I could do if I had to move to the States, I'd be the biggest cop out ever. I'd move to Hawaii. Biggest cop out ever, but I could live with that.
As far away from America as you can, but it's still America.
Yep.
Hawaii.
Got
it.
It's the way to go. Okay.
Right.
Here's one that looks like yeah. Go ahead. Go. You have to answer this question.
I was gonna take Zastel's question.
Oh, okay. Well, where are you? Okay, yeah, because you also said the same thing I did. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
I said, yeah. Zastel's question says, Technical Alpha, you've given us your top 10 list and have mentioned games that have disappointed you. But how about your top games that you feel the need to die for the genre it's in to advance? I.e. games that are too big to fail that need to fail. AKA a game that's still alive that's holding back progression.
The rest of the genre because it's too big to fail?
I know what he was targeting with this question, probably, but
I mean, the easiest one's World of Warcraft, right? But is that World of Warcraft's fault, or is that the player's fault at that point? But I mean, any of them, you could say that exact same thing. I'd probably go with World of Warcraft. I would go with I'm gonna
bundle this together with Call of Duty
Destiny.
And Battlefield.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, sure.
Those two need to die so that the squad and team-based shooters can get reimagined and redone properly.
Can live again. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Skyrim needs to die.
Skyrim. Don't get me started on Skyrim.
Adam, get started on Skyrim.
I don't.
Getting released on the Switch.
I mean, that was
for your refrigerator that you just got fixed.
Yeah, exactly. Or my toaster, or the toilet paper roll that I have in the bathroom. Skyrim is the biggest crutch Bethesda is currently wielding. It's insane. It's also in cooperation with Fallout 4, it's also the prime example of how lazy Bethesda has gotten and how much they rely on the community to finish their games for them. It would be one thing if the issues that exist within Skyrim or Fallout 4 were new, but they're the exact same issues that have existed since Morrowind because it's the same fucking graphics engine. And it just pisses me off because they make so much money on this franchise. Just endless money. And they've put Skyrim on everything. Like, it's going to start challenging Tetris for number of platforms fucking installed. Like, the only thing that Tetris would have going for it over top of Skyrim at this point is that you can install it on a shirt. Like, there's only so many other places that you can go. The Gamebryo engine needs to be old Yeller treatment. And not now. It needs to be like in a time machine. Go back and shoot it before Skyrim was ever created. The fact that they paraded out the
like
creation
Office
engine,
Space with like the baseball bats.
Oh, everything. Just burn it, piss on the ashes, bury it,
Naked
nuke it from
Gun,
orbit.
like steamroller band walking over it, like make sure it's gone.
Everything. It needs to be so dead. And they did this creation engine bullshit where they tried to pawn it off as a brand new engine. It's not. It's the same fucking engine. And so because it's the same engine, it has the same problems as games that are going on 20 years old now. It's crazy. Who the fuck does that? Who leans on one engine for that fucking long and gets away with it? They're the only ones. It doesn't make any sense. And Skyrim, it just keeps going and going. And it's funny because people are asking, when is Elder Scrolls 6 happening? And then all you get is, we're not going to talk about Elder Scrolls 6 even in the peripheral. We're just going to say, hey, fuck you. Here's another Skyrim port. How many different shades of Skyrim can we shove down your throat before you guys want to friggin' kill us? And I mean, I mentioned this. This is more of a hate on Bethesda thing than Skyrim. But I mentioned this in my review.
We haven't even gotten like a
Fallout 4.
Skyrim expansion in a while, have we? Like there hasn't been any expansions for it.
Well,
in a
that's
good
long
while.
done. Like they're not making new content for it. Here's my best guess. My best guess is that they are milking Skyrim as hard as they can to build up enough funds to produce a new engine and Elder Scrolls 6 in conjunction.
Why though? They have all of like Bethesda, which is a massive company owned by ZeniMax, I think still. They've got ID Software working with them who does fantastic engine work. You have the in-house experience. You have the technical chops. Do something with it.
I think the problem is that with all of the stuff that they do with the AI routines and all that nonsense, makes it difficult for them to shoehorn or band-aid that into or onto other engines, which is why I think the Gamebryo engine was built, in the first place, was for that exact same purpose. But even still, I think it can't be any worse than what they're using. Let's be honest. It can't possibly get worse than what they're using as it stands. So if I see, I've said this forever now, if I see Elder Scrolls 6 and it comes out on a fucking iteration of Gamebryo, I will not buy the game. I will it will be the first Elder Scrolls game that I won't buy. And I won't buy it on sale. I won't buy it on a fire sale. I won't even fucking pirate that shit. It will not touch my computer. How about this idea,
Adam? How about this idea, Adam? It's never going to happen. I don't want to get your hopes up, but I'm going to do this. Give it to CD Projekt Red to make the game.
Yeah, I guess. I'm the wrong person to say that to because I think The Witcher is a very good series, but I don't think it's what everybody makes it out to be. I don't think it's like some sort of, messianic figure in the gaming industry like they make it out to be. I just want a new engine, and I want Bethesda to give a fuck. Because I don't think that
would be important.
I don't think that you could. I don't think that they could adequately defend themselves over their games. They can't pull the our games are so complicated card now because, for example, Witcher 3, the scope of games has gotten to be huge, and other people are doing it, and they're not having all this. Game-breaking fuckery that Bethesda games are privy to. And everybody, for whatever reason, Bethesda, people joke about it. They're like, oh, it's a feature. And people laugh about it. And I talk about like I said before, like
Bethesda's lost a lot of respect in my book.
Well, yeah, so with Fallout 4 review, I said in that review, this Fallout 4 has to be the breaking point. It has to be the point in which enough people that are Bethesda fans say, you know what, guys? It was fun for a while, but now it's getting a bit silly. Now it's like things are starting to show up. You need to fucking get your shit together. It's not cutesy anymore. You're a huge company. You only make like 3 different games. Just fucking get your shit together.
Oh, EA got their act together, and you see what they put out there. You see what they've been putting out on Frostbite. It's tons of games, and like I feel like Bethesda needs to do that. Like EA looked at Frostbite, and again, Frostbite when those games first came out, it was an okay engine, but like if you look at the caliber of games coming out from EA now on Frostbite, they're all pretty good. Like at least on a technical level. So I feel like Bethesda needs to have that kind of discipline to be like, all right, we've taken this as far as we can go. What's our, we don't need like Gamebryo 2. We need something completely. We need the Gamebryo has now birthed the game baby. We need that.
Yeah.
We need that engine.
This is how I look at it, right? When Morrowind first came out, it was groundbreaking. Graphically speaking, gameplay wise, it was above and beyond everything else. It was a substantial landmark in PC role-playing games. The returns on that, they've been milking Morrowind, including the theme song. Like we said earlier, earlier in this section, we talked like they've even just repurposed. They've
lost the creative energy completely.
Yeah, I have to imagine that maybe they do, maybe they don't fucking care so much anymore. They're burnt out on doing Elder Scrolls and Fallout. And if that's the case, so be it. Then let it fucking die. But they can't because they make so much money. So, they're damned if they do. They're damned if they don't. And I don't know what their solution is, but I can tell you that as a fan of Elder Scrolls games, and I've put a ton of time into all of them, I will not buy it. If I catch a whiff of Gamebryo, I will go against it, and I will convince as many people as humanly possible to keep their hands off of that game, because they won't deserve the money anymore. They just won't they're not earning it. They're just trolling people. It kills me every time I see Todd Howard walk out on stage and mention Skyrim. It makes me want to throw up my mouth a little. It kills me.
A little bit. Just a little bit.
It's just fucking bad. It's bad. I don't know. What a shitty way to end that, though. I don't know if we should end it on that. We need a happier note.
We need a happy question. Hit us up with a happy question, people.
Happy question. Happy question. Bethesda's my dark place. We can't go there. We need to
Bethesda's my dark place.
We need to get out of Bethesda.
You need to take Adam to his happy place.
Fantasy versus science fiction. Ooh, okay. There we go. Fantasy versus science fiction. Which is better?
I'm always a sci-fi guy because I feel like sci-fi is looking forward, and you can do a lot of cool things with that. That's again, I'm into tech and all that stuff. So sci-fi is for me. I love Star Trek. I love Star Wars. I love seeing the potential of what people see the future to be. And again, it's kind of goes back to Fallout 2. It's like a huge what if on sci-fi. Like what happens if atomic energy became the thing as opposed to, electrical and all the other stuff. So yeah, for me, hands down, sci-fi better.
I think I have to agree with that. And for really similar reasons. It's when sci-fi is done properly, it incorporates high level, science and technology that we currently have, or are pretty certain that within a time frame we could technically pull off, and then they extrapolate that and turn it into stuff that we can look forward into the future to. I mean, that's what the best science fiction writers have done. And I think it makes it more. I think it makes it more appealing because you get caught up in it. It's the you get excited about it. Will we see this stuff happen? Will we be able to do these kind of things? And it's the Star Trek effect. You look at all the ideas that came out of Star Trek and similar kind of media. It's crazy to see all the stuff that we've gotten, and it's because it sparks ideas in people to see, is it possible? It's the question, can we really have a lightsaber? And then Michio Kaku comes out and says, yeah, we can, but it won't look like the one in the movie, but here's how you could technically make that work. Or can we really have energy force fields? Is that a thing that can exist? And again, not like you've seen it in the movies, but here's how we could,
theoretically it could happen.
With enough power, here's how we could do it. And that kind of stuff is really fucking awesome.
I mean, you look at the stuff from like the 1950s from that you get with like Star Trek and all of that, right? And a lot of our technology now kind of comes from that. Like you look at the iPad, and that was kind of like, someone in Star Trek times thought about the pad. And, there was the computer access system. And then we've come up with cooler things now. You look at, when Star Trek came out in Next Generation came out in the 1980s, all those touchscreen displays, that's where we're still trying to work towards now. The communicators being like this handheld thing that you flip and you wirelessly can talk to whatever. We got that now. People have made the Bluetooth communicator thing for like the comm badge type thing. Those exist. So, we've seen a lot of cool things come out of there. Obviously there's a lot of just real like techno babble garbagey stuff, but there's other cool things that we have come up with based on Star Trek and other types of designs like that. So, there's definitely, and that's what I like about it, like sci-fi. It gives you that something to shoot for. Can we get
exactly.
there?
Exactly. I mean, fantasy is more. Fantasy has its positives as well in that same, kind of a similar vein, but it's more escapism than anything. It's the idea of things that usually with fantasy. I mean, it's fantasy, so it's stuff that you just flat out know never in a million years could possibly be a thing that happens. Right? It's magic and all this other nonsense that comprises a whole world that we know we can't be part of, but it provides you those worlds, and that's the fun part. But with science fiction, it just, for me anyway, it engages me more for those reasons. It's kind of like, I talk about that for a while, but it's like quantum computing, for example, is becoming a thing now, where we were talking about it before.
Oh yeah, it's a big deal.
And that kind of is
Optical
also a Star
too,
Trek.
Actually.
Yeah, like a Star Trek thing where like you think about Voyager and Voyager being like a bio, like a
bioneural
what do they call it? Bioneural circuitry.
Yep.
So it's like
it's the bioneural gel packs.
Yeah. So it's like and quantum computing is kind of like the first step in that direction. Actually, did you see the video Linus did when he went to D-Wave here in Canada, for their quantum computing, and they broke down how the computers work? It's fucking nuts. They operate at approaching, and I mean approaching, absolute zero. They have this whole system in place where this disk, this wafer, is housed in this multi, almost filter-like scenario inside of basically a huge box that is cooled to almost absolute zero, and then it because it's basically a living thing. When you take it offline and boot it back up, it takes weeks at a time to find the patterns that it has to use in order to compute anything. And so it's not like our computers, you just turn it on, turn it back off because it's just a bunch of ones and zeros. It actually takes calibration time. It's crazy, crazy, crazy.
Well, our current, like, one of the big things is like we talk about nanometer sizings for like chip circuitry. And one of the problems we're running into from going from like 14 to 10 millimeter on those processes is actually a quantum tunneling effect. We're running into problems where we're actually seeing, because when the stuff is getting that small, that electrons, again, they can only move so fast in whatever space. Electrons are ending up in spaces where they shouldn't be able to get, not because of like leakage or something. Like they've analyzed these things and seen like, hey, there's a solid wall here, but we're doing stuff at such slow level and high frequency that for some reason an electron will just go through a solid wall for no reason. It's not supposed to be able to do it. And it's called quantum tunneling, effectively. Like the electron, like whole wave particle thing starts breaking down. So, you know, it can achieve multiple states and can just go through a wall that shouldn't be there. It shouldn't be able to go through. And they're running into those type of problems now. So they're trying different ways of doing it.
It's essentially a similar concept to how transporters in Star Trek end up working at that point, where it's breaking everything down. And I mean, that also is fun to watch, because there have been entire groups of people in the scientific community that have been working towards transporting technologies. Yeah. And the last when I looked into it, that was years ago now, but
like now quantum entanglement communications is one thing that we've seen in sci-fi recently. Like Mass Effect has been doing it. We've seen it in other sci-fi series, and like that's like the new thing to talk across far distances. So people are looking into it now, saying the theory is actually sound. We just don't know how to do it.
The math is there. We just have no idea how to actually make that happen. But with the transporters and stuff, they had they successfully transported like a molecule. It was tiny as fuck. Yeah. But they successfully did it across a river. It was like a few hundred feet. But what ends up happening, and I'm sure anyone that's a science fiction fan would realize or know this at this point, but the cool fact that I know blew my mind a little bit when I learned about it is that in order for transporters technically to work as they do in Star Trek, when you break somebody down like that and then rebuild them on the other side, they're not technically the same person. You're
the ethics behind it.
Essentially, yeah.
You kill them and then remake them.
Killing them and then rebuilding them on the other side. So they're not physically transported. You're just cloning them from one side
like the Prestige
to the other.
All over again.
Yeah. Which brings up, at that point, then you start thinking of, well, the human conscience, is that transferable? Would they even know why the fuck they're there? Or would they be tripping balls when they show up on the other side and have no idea, you know, what just happened? Or if they'd even be living. I mean,
oh my God.
It's pretty crazy. So stuff like that's kind of fun. So yeah, science fiction for me for sure is numero uno. But yeah, let's leave it at that. I think is a good place to stop it. That was a little bit better. We ran longer than necessary, but there was a whole hell of a lot of nonsense in this.
You're gonna have some fun editing this.
Yeah, I don't know how the fuck I'm gonna pull that off, but we'll figure something out and make that work. But thank you so much, guys, for coming and hanging out and listening this evening. Whether you're
a little bit more laid back,
Twitch,
a little bit weirder.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with weird. That's in vogue now, right? That's a thing. Thank you so much for coming in and stopping by and listening. For those of you listening on iTunes and on YouTube and everywhere else, thank you guys so much as well. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Check out our Patreon at patreon.com/technicalalpha. We are going to be starting the throes of the website rebuild, so soon I'll be able to just send you straight to the website and it will make sense to. And by soon, I mean it's probably not that soon, but it's going to happen. We are starting the beginning of it at this point. Yeah, we're gonna leave it there. Thank you so much once again. We'll see you guys next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. And until then, have a good morning, afternoon, or evening, and we'll see you on the next one. But hold on, I almost forgot. Guys, if you're enjoying Technical Alpha, I almost forgot. I'm pressing the wrong buttons. There we go. It took this long for it to really fall apart, but here we go. I have to shout out our Patreon producers. How did I almost forget that? Jetrix the God, Beastall the God, and a whole host of gods as well. Joe McDong, Sir Holmes, Postal Panda, Jamaican Jazz, Adam B, Total Steel, Naily, Derek P, Fricey, and Ice Wolfie. All legends, all gods. Bless you so much, gentlemen, and possibly ladies in there for all I know. I just need to go to bed. Thank you so much for watching and listening, guys. We'll see you next week. And until then, peace.
Bye.